Listen, I've said it 100 times and I'm going to say it again. There's not a staff across college football that works as hard and recruits as hard as Kirby Smart and the University of Georgia. Yesterday, Friday, was the first day where it was the contact period. The dead period is over and the Georgia Bulldogs were out seeing some of the top prospects, targets across the state of Georgia, and they were everywhere. That's what this video is all about. I'm going to jump right into it. Start with Kirby Smart. First day on the road, so he had a bunch of places. He was in Gwinnett County, North Fulton. Kirby Smart was at Buford, home to 2025 linebacker commit Jaden Perlotti. He went to North Gwinnett. He went to Peachtree Ridge, Greater Atlanta Christian, Milton, 7A champs, Milton Eagles. He went to Roswell, right down the road to Blessed Trinity, and ended his day at Alpharetta High School, home to 2025 tight end commit Ethan Barber. So there's not a single head coach of college football who went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 schools on Friday, first day of the contact period. No other head coach is doing that. Kirby Smart is. That's how you recruit. That's how you build a championship caliber program. Mike Bobo, Georgia's offensive coordinator, was down in South Georgia. He saw Bainbridge, Cairo, Thomas County Central, Thomasville, where he went to school, Brooks County, Lowndes, and Valdosta. Is there another offensive coordinator in college football seeing that many schools hitting the road that hard? I don't think so. The Dawgs are doing it different. They're on an entire different level as far as recruiting goes. This was the first day out, and they used that hashtag on Twitter when they took pictures of all these different schools. They want everyone to know, hey, we're out there. We're looking for Dawgs. We are going to lock down the state of Georgia in the 2025 class. That's what they're going to try to do, and that's how you do it, by building relationships. Most of these schools that they went to, they don't have a guy that Georgia's looking at. This is about networking, getting face-to-face with these coaches, because one day these coaches might have a player that is good enough to play for Georgia. So this is all about getting into the school, having face-to-face conversations, and building those relationships. There's a reason why Kirby Smart hired Todd Hartley, a Georgia guy. It's because he knows hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of high school coaches in the state of Georgia. Same with Brian McClendon. Same with Trey Scott, same with Glenn Schumann. I'm going to talk about where they were in a minute, but Will Muschamp recruits and knows the state as well as anyone. Kirby Smart, Mike Bobo, these guys know Georgia. North Georgia, South Georgia, Middle Georgia, Rural Georgia, it doesn't matter. This staff has so many connections in the state of Georgia, and yesterday and next week too, they're going to still be hitting up these schools, building those relationships. Will Muschamp was in Northwest Georgia. He stopped by Rockmart, Cedartown, Cass, Cartersville. These are programs that consistently develop D1 caliber players. Cartersville just had a kid sign with Georgia, Malachi Tolliver in the 24 class. Cedartown has a 2025 DB commitment, Tay Harris. That's just what they're doing. Excuse my hair, by the way. It's been a rough morning. This is my first video in the new house, new crib. So appreciate everyone who's stuck with me as I make videos in the car and this and that. So nothing behind me right now because it's day 3 living in the new house, but we'll have this office set up pretty soon to look really cool as I make these videos for y'all. Glenn Schumann, defensive coordinator. He was in, let's just call it rural Georgia, South Georgia, Central Georgia. He went to Toombs County, Vidalia, Worth County, Washington County, Crisp County, and Lee County. Now, Crisp and Lee have consistently developed D1 talent. Lee County has one of the top running backs in the country for the 2025 class. Usman Chroma, just an absolute baller, a top 10 player in the state of Georgia, in my opinion. So Glenn Schumann making the rounds, seeing those guys down in rural Georgia, South Georgia, Middle Georgia, whatever you want to call where those schools are. I don't know how many other colleges went through there, but Georgia's defensive coordinator, who's going to be a head coach one day, he was there. Todd Hartley was down in Southeast Georgia. He stopped by Clinch County, Ware County, Charlton County, Coffee, Jeff Davis, Appling County, Brantley County. Dude was everywhere. And I'll tell you this right now, the staff was working overtime. They were in these schools at 7 a.m. and they didn't leave until like 8, 9 p.m. A lot of these coaches stayed and watched a basketball game at the end of the day, wherever high school they were at, right? So that's just what they do. They are relentless on the trail. And I'll tell you what, if you want to work for Kirby Smart, you better know how to recruit, and you better put in 12-hour days after 12-hour days after 12-hour days. Again, if you want to win a championship, this is what you have to do. You have to grind. You have to live on the recruiting trail when it's recruiting season like this. And this staff, they'll say they like it, right? They love to recruit. They love to build relationships because it makes it easier to get that 5-star that they want to get so badly. But I'll tell you what, it's a grind. And Kirby Smart works these guys hard, just like he works his players. This staff is out there working as hard as any staff in the country. And I'm not just saying that because I cover Georgia recruiting. I say it because it's a fact. I know it. There's not a single staff out there who did what the Georgia Bulldogs did on Friday, and they're going to keep it up. This recruiting season, this matters. This matters a lot. Dell McGee and Dante Williams, running backs coach, new defensive backs coach, they were in the Atlanta area. Brian McClendon, wide receivers coach, he was in Gwinnett County and some of Fulton County, DeKalb County. Brian McClendon made stops at Tucker High School, Stevenson, Brookwood, Archer, South Gwinnett, Loganville, Shiloh. It almost seems impossible to hit 7 to 8, sometimes 9 schools in one day. But that's what they're doing. I don't even think they use the helicopter. Kirby Smart is usually in the helicopter, and that's when they go, state by state by state, covers different areas across the country. But, day one, they said we're going to hit all over the state of Georgia. I'm going to talk more about the 2025 class down the road, but they hit the road hard on day number 1, and they said, we're staying in Georgia. We're staying in the Peach State, continue to build these relationships with this staff, or these staffs across the state, because as far as most talent goes, states across the country, Texas, Florida, then Georgia. More talent comes out of Georgia, better talent comes out of Georgia than California. I feel like that's a fact now. The California folks are going to get real triggered about that, but the high school football in Georgia is better than California. They might have Mater Dei and St. John Bosco and some big-time programs, but top to bottom, Georgia's better than California. And you can make the case that Alabama high school football is deeper and more talented than the state of California. California's top-heavy, but it's not as deep. You can't go all across California to find great high school football. You can in Georgia, you can in Alabama, and of course you can in Florida and Texas. And this staff will hit those areas too, but they hit Georgia day 1, and they have the ability to lock down the state in the 2025 class, especially, right now, where the rankings are. I'm going to make another video about this soon, but they can land 7 of the top 10 prospects in the state of Georgia for that 2025 class are already off to a great start. Ellis Williams, 5-star tight end down in Camden County. Ethan Barber, a tight end that I love out of Alpharetta. Tay Harris is committed. Justice Terry is committed out of Manchester High School. Jaden Perlotti at Buford, where Kirby Smart stopped. He's a top 100 player in the country. Zayden Walker at Slack County is in Athens as you're watching this video. He's taking a trip to Athens this weekend. Elijah Griffin, a 5-star defensive end out of Savannah Christian down in that part of Georgia. He's the top 5 player in the country right now. He's also in Athens. So this 2025 group is solid. It's deep, especially on the offensive line for sure. And there's plenty of top defenders as well. And at tight end, Todd Hartley's got his 2 tight ends already committed, both from the state of Georgia. Both are going to be big time players in Athens. But again, this all goes back to the fact that no one's working harder than Kirby Smart and his staff. Nobody. But that's what you want to do if you want to win a championship. And the new staff at Alabama better recognize what Georgia's doing. And they're going to have to do that. It's going to be tough for that new head coach over there, who I'm going to talk about in another video probably real soon. It's going to be tough for him and his staff to go into the Peach State and go into the living room of a 5-star and get him. That's not the same Alabama program as it was with Nick Saban. It's just not. He's going to be a good coach, and I think they're going to have some years. But he's got to do a lot better on the recruiting trail. He doesn't recruit the South. He's going to have to do that, and in a big way. But right now, Kirby Smart is saying, hey, this is still our state. This is what we do, and we're going to try to lock down the state in 2025 and beyond and get our guys. And you do that by continuing to make connections, building relationships with those high school coaches. And that's what they do, man. All of them were out recruiting. They all hit schools from 7 to 8 or 9 p.m., depending on where they were. It just shows you how hard this staff works and how much they want it. And of course, you can read all of this over on Dawg Post. The story is already over there. So if you want to know where Glenn Schumann was, Kirby was, and all that good stuff, you can read all of it over on Dawg Post. The story is already on the site. We want to get y'all over there. We can't give you all the insider scoop here. I try to give as much as possible, but the real scoop that we can't talk about on YouTube is over on the website. You can sign up to our free newsletter. That link is right down below. It's free to sign up. So there's no reason why you can't do that right now after this video. Sign up to our free newsletter. Go read everything we have over on Dawg Post because, again, it's recruiting season. I cover recruiting, so this is big time for me. I'm excited to get back out there to start writing some stories next week. Hopefully have some visitor stories because this is a big weekend in Athens. There's a big story already on the site right now about how many 5-stars are visiting Athens this weekend. Make sure you go read it all. You can do that by signing up to our free newsletter down below. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you over on the website.